Lovelle Mixon killed 4 police officers from Oakland, California on March 21st, 2009. So Lovelle Mixon was on parole. He had a no bail warrant for violating that parole. He got pulled over by a CHP on MacArthur and 74th in East Oakland. And the reason why it was CHP is because Oakland was so overwhelmed, they needed help. They got a few other departments to help them out, which included CHP. So they pulled him over, asked for his license, and according to one cop, he suspected the license was fake. So he told his partner to arrest him, to arrest Mixon. So Mixon took a handgun and just started shooting out of the window. He hit both officers, got out the car, and executed them both. This is broad daylight. He gets in his car, drives to his sister's apartment a few blocks away, and he barricades himself. He hides. So they closed off all of East Oakland. He couldn't go in or out. He had a very large perimeter. I remember that day like it was yesterday, man. They were stopping people and asking them to open their trunk, look in the back of the car. They were everywhere. A witness tells a cop that she saw Mixon go inside an apartment building. So they go in there with a SWAT team, and on their way in, I guess they didn't know that he had a SKS rifle. They were thinking he only had a handgun. So he managed to kill 2 in that apartment building. And of course they returned fire after that, and they killed him. It's a crazy story, man. It's sad as hell too. So let's go ahead and check out the full report, and I'll have more commentary afterwards.
4 police officers in Oakland, California, were fatally shot on March 21, 2009, by Lovelle Mixon, a convicted felon wanted on a no-bail warrant for a parole violation. Mixon shot and killed 2 police officers of the Oakland Police Department during a routine traffic stop. After escaping on foot to the nearby apartment of his sister, Mixon shot and killed 2 police SWAT team officers attempting to apprehend him. Mixon was killed as other officers on the team returned fire. This was the deadliest attack on California police officers since the Newhall Massacre in 1970, when 4 California Highway Patrol officers were shot and killed by 2 men in Santa Clarita. It was also the deadliest attack on American law enforcement since the September 11th attacks. On March 21, 2009, at 1:08 p.m., Mixon was pulled over in a routine traffic stop while driving a 1995 Buick sedan. 2 motorcycle cops, Officer John Hege and Sergeant Mark Dunakin, stopped him for a traffic violation on 74th Avenue and MacArthur Boulevard in East Oakland, 1 block from Eastmont Town Center and an Oakland Police Department substation. After reviewing Mixon's driver's license, Sergeant Dunakin became suspicious that it was fake and signaled to his partner, Officer Hege, to arrest Mixon. Mixon leaned out of the vehicle's side window and opened fire with a semi-automatic pistol without warning, shooting both officers twice. After the officers collapsed, he got out of the car, approached them, and fired execution-style directly into their backs. He briefly stood over the bodies before fleeing on foot. Witnesses reported Mixon as having fired 6 shots. Neither officer returned fire. Witnesses said Mixon fled westward into the surrounding neighborhood on 74th Avenue. Some witnesses called 911, while others ran to the officers and started providing comfort and CPR until ambulances arrived. By the time they did, Sergeant Dunakin had died, and Officer Hege was found to be mortally wounded, having been shot behind the left ear. An intense manhunt for Mixon was conducted, with participation by some 200 officers from the Oakland Police Department, the Alameda County Sheriff's Office, the BART Police Department, the California Highway Patrol, and several agencies from various cities. He was described to police as a black male wearing all black clothing and wire-rimmed sunglasses. Nearby streets were cordoned off, and an entire area of East Oakland was closed to traffic. However, due to the absence of senior Oakland police officers, positions in the new command post were self-assigned by the on-scene commanders, who were overwhelmed by the city-wide response. It took 90 minutes for senior officers to arrive at the scene and take control of the manhunt. Eventually, after a search on the Buick was conducted, Mixon was formally identified as the suspect in the MacArthur Boulevard shooting. As police descended on the neighborhood, a local woman walked up to MacArthur Boulevard to see what the commotion was about. She noticed the Buick and recalled seeing Mixon in the car during the previous few days. She also knew that Mixon's sister lived in a two-bedroom, ground-level apartment on 74th Avenue, just a block from where the motorcycle officers were shot. Although she knew her life would be in danger if she were labeled a quote, snitch, the woman decided to give this information to an officer she recognized. The information was then relayed to Lieutenant Christopher Mafara, who was investigating Mixon's possible whereabouts independently by an off-duty police lieutenant. Without consultation or coordination with his superiors, Mafara ordered a SWAT team to converge on the scene. At 2:38 p.m., Mafara decided to have the SWAT team enter and clear the ground floor of the apartment before sending in a tracking dog. However, the full SWAT team had yet to be assembled. Sergeant Daniel Sakai was then reassigned by Mafara from his previous position as Canine Coordinator to the SWAT team. Unknown to the SWAT team, following the MacArthur Boulevard shooting with the pistol, Mixon had managed to secure an SKS carbine with a fixed bayonet, likely stored in his sister's apartment. At 3:02 p.m., SWAT team officers raided the apartment, breaking down the door while throwing non-lethal shock flashbang grenades. At the time of the raid, the room was poorly illuminated. Sergeant Pat Gonzales entered the room first, followed by Sergeant Ervin Romans. As Romans entered, he was ambushed by Mixon, who shot him through the wall and door of a bedroom he was hiding in, mortally wounding him. Gonzales was then shot and wounded in the shoulder, although he continued to leave the team inside the bedroom. None of the officers had yet managed to fire their weapons due to the poor lighting of the room. They were momentarily surprised by a young girl who had been wounded in her leg by the flash grenade, who screamed loudly and fled from the bathroom. As Romans was evacuated, one of the other SWAT officers then spotted Mixon beside the bedroom door, equipped with the SKS rifle, and fired at him. Mixon was forced to retreat inside the room and close the door. The team moved towards the bedroom and partially forced the door open. As he managed to get inside, Sakai was shot and mortally wounded by Mixon. Gonzales rushed into the room next and tripped on the floor, falling in front of Mixon. Mixon shot at Gonzales while he was falling and could have struck Gonzales in the head, although the bullet was deflected by Gonzales' tactical helmet, which protected him from injury. Spotting Mixon, Gonzales opened fire and was joined by Alameda County Sheriff's Deputy Derek Pope. Mixon was lit up by the barrage of gunfire and died from his wounds at 3:20 p.m. Mixon had an extensive criminal history. Beginning at age 13, he was arrested multiple times for battery, and by age 20 was serving a state prison sentence following a felony conviction for assault with a deadly weapon and armed robbery in San Francisco. After he was paroled, Mixon went in and out of prison. When the shootings happened, he was living in East Oakland at his grandmother's house and was wanted on a no-bail arrest warrant for violating his parole conditions. Had Mixon been arrested for his parole violation, he would have faced at most 6 months in prison.
After all that, I remember a lot of people in Oakland weren't terribly sad about what happened to the cops. A lot of them looked at Mixon like he was a hero, man, like a martyr. They even put up graffiti and stuff, celebrating his life and what he did. Because you got to understand, that was a little after the killing of Oscar Grant. So people in Oakland and the whole Bay Area were pretty mad about that. So they saw it almost like eye for an eye kind of deal. Yeah, the mistrust, the hatred towards police officers in Oakland. Been like that for a good while, man. I even looked up who this guy was who got shot in the shoulder. He's Pat Gonzales. I saw the last name. I'm like, oh, he's Mexican, Latino. That took a lot of balls, man, to do what he did. He went in. He saw his partner got shot and killed. He gets hit in the shoulder, and he still led the team. And when he saw Mixon, he fell, got shot, but his helmet saved him, and he still let off a shot, and he's the first one to hit Mixon, and then everybody else returned fire. But you can say what you want about anybody, about a cop or whatever. That takes a lot of guts, man. And I looked him up, found a picture and everything, and then I found a lot of posts that said that he was a crooked cop, that he killed a lot of people unnecessarily. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I don't know the full story, so I left that part out. But yeah, man, that's not very uncommon, in a lot of cities. But yeah, definitely in Oakland. Like I said, crazy, sad story, man. Go ahead and let me know what y'all think. Counterfeiting is a billion-dollar business perpetrated by thousands of people throughout the world. Meet Kimo, one of those people. Kimo is a young man from the most dangerous city in America. After losing his job, he ventures into the risky business of counterfeiting to help relocate his family to a better place.